The cream-colored envelope sat on my kitchen counter like a bomb waiting to explode. I knew what was inside. My sister Elena's wedding invitation. What I didn't expect was the handwritten note that fell out when I opened it. Dear Penelope, I hope you understand that given our history and current circumstances, it would be best if you didn't attend the wedding. I want my special day to be drama-free. Love, Elena. My hands shook as I read those words again and again. Uninvited to my own sister's wedding. The ultimate slap in the face, delivered with Elena's signature passive-aggressive sweetness. I'm Penelope, by the way. The younger, less perfect sister, who apparently doesn't deserve to witness her siblings' special day. At 28, I thought I was past letting Elena's games affect me. Clearly, I was wrong. My phone buzzed. Mom calling. Of course she knew. Elena probably made sure of that. Honey, I just talked to your sister. Mom's voice was hesitant. She told me about the note. Save it, Mom. I get the message loud and clear. I tried keeping my voice steady, but the tremor was there. She's just stressed about the wedding. You know how Elena gets when she's planning something important. I laughed bitterly. Right. Because Elena's stress justifies excluding her only sister from her wedding. Makes total sense. Penelope, please, can't you two just what, Mom? Pretend everything's fine? Like we did when she accidentally ruined my college graduation party. Or when she told everyone at Dad's birthday that my promotion was just nepotism. The silence on the other end spoke volumes. I have to go, I said, hanging up before she could respond. I needed air. Grabbing my keys, I headed to the park near my apartment. The autumn breeze helped clear my head, but the hurt and anger still churned inside me. That's when I saw Victor, Elena's fiancé, sitting alone on a bench. He was staring at something in his hands. Our grandmother's sapphire necklace, the family heirloom Elena had been bragging about wearing at the wedding. Penelope. He quickly pocketed the necklace, looking oddly guilty. I didn't expect to see you here. Just getting some fresh air, I said, forcing a smile. Beautiful necklace, isn't it? Victor's expression changed. It's incredible, the history behind it. Elena mentioned it's been in your family for generations. 4 generations, I confirmed, sitting beside him. Though I'm surprised Elena told you the real story. She usually embellishes things. His brow furrowed. What do you mean? Oh, I feigned surprise. I thought she would have told you about great-grandmother Isabella and how she acquired it. It's quite a tale. Victor leaned forward, interested. Elena just said it was a family heirloom. There's more to it? The way his eyes lit up told me everything I needed to know. Victor wasn't just marrying into our family. He was fascinated by its history, its stories. Stories Elena had carefully edited to suit her narrative. Another time, perhaps, I said, standing up. I should go. Wouldn't want to cause any drama before the wedding. The bitterness in my voice was unmistakable. What? Why would you? He paused. Did something happen? Ask your fiancé, I replied, walking away. I'm sure she'll have a perfectly reasonable explanation for why her sister isn't invited to the wedding. I felt Victor's shocked stare on my back as I left. The seed was planted. For the first time since receiving that note, I felt something besides hurt. I felt powerful. Back home, I pulled out my own copy of the family photo album. There it was, the picture of great-grandmother Isabella, wearing the sapphire necklace, standing beside the man who'd given it to her. Not her husband, as Elena had likely told Victor, but her lover. The man she'd chosen over family obligation and social standing. The necklace wasn't just jewelry. It was a symbol of defiance, of choosing truth over appearance. Elena had no idea I knew the real story. She'd always been too busy crafting her perfect image to dig deeper into our family's past. My phone buzzed again. A text from Mom. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be. I smiled, running my finger over Isabella's photograph. Sorry, Mom, I whispered. But Elena started this, and I'm going to finish it. The plan forming in my mind wasn't pretty. It wasn't nice. But then again, neither was excluding your sister from your wedding. Elena had made her choice, and now I was making mine. Sometimes karma needs a little help, right? She did what? Gwendolyn slammed her coffee mug down so hard that several heads turned in our direction. Uninvited you to her own wedding. We were sitting at our usual corner table at the Daily Grind, where I'd been spilling my guts about Elena's latest power play. Keep your voice down, I hissed, though secretly I appreciated her outrage. And yes, complete with a condescending little note about keeping her special day drama-free. That manipulative little— Gwen took a deep breath. Okay, but what exactly does she mean by given our history? What history? I stirred my now cold latte. Take your pick. The time she told my high school boyfriend I was cheating on him. Or maybe when she convinced mom and dad that my art degree was a waste of time, so they wouldn't help pay for it. God, I remember that. You worked 2 jobs to put yourself through school. And now I'm the lead designer at Mitchell and Associates, while she's still jumping from job to job, trying to find her passion. I made air quotes with my fingers, but somehow I'm the family disappointment. My phone buzzed. Another text from Victor. Can we talk about what you said in the park? Gwen peered at my screen. Victor's texting you. Elena will lose it if she finds out. Good. I showed her the messages. He's fascinated by the family heirloom. Elena's been feeding him some sanitized version of its history, the sapphire necklace, with the whole scandalous love affair story. I nodded. Elena's probably told him it's some precious symbol of family tradition and loyalty. If only he knew. Gwen's eyes widened. Pen, you're not thinking of— Why not? Elena wants to pretend everything's perfect. Fine. Let's see how she handles the truth coming out. This is dangerous territory, Gwen warned. Are you sure you want to go there? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Dad's name flashed on the screen. Hey, Dad. Penelope, your mother's upset. His voice had that familiar tired tone. Can't you just apologize to your sister? I gripped the phone tighter. Apologize? For what exactly? You know how important this wedding is to her. If I'd just what, Dad? Accept being treated like garbage. Again. That's not fair, Penelope. Your sister. No, you know what's not fair. Having parents who never once stood up for me. Who always took her side. My voice cracked. I have to go. I hung up, hands shaking. Gwen reached across the table and squeezed my arm. You okay? Perfect. I pulled out my laptop. In fact, I think it's time to write a letter. To Elena? To Victor. He wants to know about family history. I'll give him the full story. Every detail Elena's been hiding. Pen. Gwen's voice was cautious. What exactly are you planning? I started typing. Remember that night at the engagement party, when Elena disappeared for an hour with her ex? No way. Gwen leaned forward. You don't think— I don't think. I know. I saw them. My fingers flew across the keyboard. And that's just the beginning. This could blow up in your face, Gwen warned. Are you ready for the fallout? I thought about Elena's note. About years of subtle put-downs and orchestrated humiliations. About mom and dad always taking her side. The necklace was given to our great-grandmother by her lover, I said, still typing. She chose love and truth over family obligation and appearances. Maybe it's time someone in this family followed her example. My phone buzzed again. Elena this time. Mom says you're upset. Don't make this difficult, Penny. It's my wedding. I showed Gwen the message. See? Still trying to control the narrative. What are you going to say to her? I closed my laptop, a cold smile forming. Nothing. I'm going to let Victor do the talking. And the necklace. Oh, Elena will get her precious heirloom. I took a sip of coffee, along with all the truth she's been trying to bury. Gwen shook her head, but I could see the hint of a smile. You're either incredibly brave or completely crazy. Maybe both. I stood up, gathering my things, but Elena's about to learn that karma doesn't care about perfect wedding plans. As we left the coffee shop, I felt lighter than I had in days. The plan was taking shape, and for once, I wasn't going to back down. Elena wanted a drama-free wedding. Too bad. Some stories deserve to be told, even if they ruin the perfect picture she's trying to paint. The cursor blinked on my screen as I stared at the letter I'd been crafting for the past 3 hours. Each word had to be perfect, just the right blend of concern and revelation. Dear Victor, I read aloud to my empty apartment. I've been struggling with whether to send this letter, but as someone who cares about both you and our family's legacy, I feel you deserve to know the truth. My phone lit up with a text from Tobias. You sure about this? I ignored it, focusing on the letter. The truth about Elena was like a deck of cards, and I was about to deal them one by one. The sapphire necklace you admired represents more than just family tradition. It symbolizes a choice, one that changed our family forever. Our great-grandmother Isabella received it from her lover, not her husband, as Elena may have told you. She chose truth over appearance, love over obligation. The memory of Elena's engagement party flashed through my mind. I'd gone looking for her to help with the champagne toast, only to find her in the garden with James, her ex. Their whispered conversation, the way she'd quickly stepped away when she saw me. I added another paragraph. Speaking of choices, I feel you should know about the night of your engagement party. Elena's disappearance wasn't just a coincidence. I saw her with James in the garden, the same James she swore she'd cut contact with months ago. My hands trembled as I typed the next part, but perhaps most concerning is what happened to the original wedding rings, the ones from your grandmother that mysteriously disappeared. Elena pawned them 3 months ago. I have the receipt to prove it. The doorbell rang, making me jump. Through the peephole, I saw Mom standing there, clutching her purse. Penelope, open up. We need to talk. I quickly saved the letter and closed my laptop. Coming. Mom burst in as soon as I opened the door. This has to stop. Elena's a mess. She barely ate at the cake tasting today. Oh no, how tragic. Did she at least manage to criticize the baker's work? This isn't funny. Mom paced my living room. Why can't you just let her have this? It's her wedding day. Right, her wedding day, where her own sister isn't welcome, because God forbid anything disturb Elena's perfect narrative. You know how she is about appearances. That's the problem, Mom. I exploded. Everyone knows how she is, but nobody ever calls her out on it. She lies, she manipulates, she hurts people, and everyone just lets her. Mom sank onto my couch. She's your sister, is she? Because sisters don't do what she's done to me. They don't sabotage job interviews or spread rumors about mental health issues. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone, showing Mom the email Elena had sent to my dream company last year, warning them about my unstable behavior. Mom's face went pale. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. Because Elena's great at hiding who she really is. But you know what? I walked to my laptop. Not anymore. Penelope, what are you planning? Nothing, Mom. Just making sure the truth comes out. After Mom left, I returned to the letter. The final paragraph needed to strike just the right note. Victor, I'm sharing this not to hurt anyone, but because you deserve to make an informed decision about your future. The necklace you admired tells a story of truth, breaking free from lies. Perhaps it's fitting that it should play that role again. My phone buzzed with another text from Tobias. Victor's asking questions about Elena's past. Whatever you're planning, it's working. I smiled, adding one last line to the letter. P.S. Ask Elena about the trust fund she's been hiding from you. The one she plans to use for her fresh start after the wedding. That last bit was a shot in the dark. I had no proof about the trust fund, but Elena's reaction would tell Victor everything he needed to know. I printed the letter, folding it carefully, and placing it in an envelope, along with a photocopy of the pawn shop receipt. The original necklace box sat ready on my desk, waiting for its moment. My phone rang, Elena's number. I let it go to voicemail. Penny, please. Her voice cracked with fake tears. Whatever you're doing, just stop. Can't you be happy for me just this once? I deleted the message and picked up the necklace box. Oh, Elena, I whispered. I'm about to make your wedding day unforgettable. The pieces were in place. Now I just needed Tobias to play his part in the delivery. Sometimes the truth is the sweetest revenge of all. I don't know about this, Pen. Tobias shifted uncomfortably in my kitchen, staring at the elegantly wrapped box on the counter. It feels wrong. More wrong than Elena uninviting her own sister. I handed him a coffee. More wrong than her lying to everyone for years. He took a sip, avoiding my eyes. Victor's my friend. Exactly. Don't you think your friend deserves to know who he's really marrying? The morning sun streamed through my kitchen window, making the gift box's silver wrapping paper sparkle. Inside, nestled in black velvet, lay the sapphire necklace and my letter. My phone buzzed. Elena again. Her 10th call since yesterday. She's getting desperate, I said, showing Tobias the screen. She knows something's coming. How can you be so sure? Because I know my sister. She can smell when she's losing control. I picked up the box. This is your chance to help Victor dodge a bullet. Tobias ran a hand through his hair. What exactly am I supposed to say when I give it to him? Just tell him you found it on his doorstep. Say it was marked urgent, personal. I pressed the box into his hands. The letter will do the rest. And if he asks who it's from? He won't need to ask. He'll know. My phone rang again. Dad this time. I declined the call. Your whole family's freaking out, aren't they? Tobias asked. They're freaking out because Elena's freaking out. Same old story. I smiled bitterly. But this time, the drama's real. Tobias stood up, box in hand. I should go. Victor's at the hotel doing last-minute preparations. Perfect timing. I walked him to the door. And Tobias, thank you. He paused in the doorway. Just promise me this won't destroy him. It might hurt at first, I admitted. But finding out now is better than finding out after they're married. After Tobias left, I paced my apartment, checking my phone every few minutes. The rehearsal dinner was tonight. By then, Victor would have the box. A text from Gwen popped up. Elena just called me in tears, asking if I knew what you were planning. She's scared, Pen. Good, I typed back. She should be. Another call from Mom. This time, I answered. Elena's a wreck, she said, without preamble. She thinks you're going to ruin her wedding. Funny how she's suddenly concerned about my actions when she's the one who uninvited me. Please, honey, whatever you're planning. Mom, I have to go. I'm sure Elena needs you more than I do. She always has. I hung up, hands shaking. The apartment felt too small suddenly. I grabbed my keys and headed to the park where I'd first seen Victor with the necklace. My phone buzzed with a text from Tobias. Package delivered. He's opening it now. I sat on a bench, heart pounding. This was it. No turning back now. 20 minutes later, another text. Holy shit, he's reading the letter. His face. Pen. What exactly did you write? I didn't respond. Instead, I pulled up Elena's contact and typed, remember when you told me I'd never be important enough to affect your perfect life? Watch me. Her response was immediate. What have you done? Before I could reply, Tobias called. Pen, you need to know something. Victor just called Elena. He's demanding to see her immediately. He mentioned the necklace, the rings, and something about a trust fund? I smiled. My shot in the dark had hit its mark. How did you know about the trust fund? Tobias asked. Victor said Elena completely fell apart when he mentioned it. I didn't know, I guessed. Elena always has an escape plan. The rehearsal dinner will be interesting, I finished. Very interesting. My phone exploded with notifications. Texts from Mom, Dad, Elena, even distant relatives who'd somehow gotten wind that something was wrong. I turned my phone off and looked up at the cloudy sky. A storm was coming, both literally and figuratively. I hope you're watching. Great-grandmother Isabella, I whispered. Your necklace is about to tell another truth. As I walked home, I thought about Elena's face when she'd read my text. For the first time in our lives, she wasn't in control. She couldn't manipulate or charm her way out of this one. The truth was out there now, making its way through the family like a slow-burning fuse. And tonight, at the rehearsal dinner, it would finally reach the powder keg. I almost felt sorry for Elena. Almost. The rehearsal dinner was in full swing at the Grand Hotel when Gwen's text came through. You need to see this. Elena's a mess. Victor's not speaking to her. And your parents are trying to keep everything from falling apart. Get to the hotel bar now. I was already there, tucked away in a corner booth where I could watch the drama unfold through the glass doors of the main dining room. The perfect vantage point for my masterpiece. Another gin and tonic? The bartender asked. Just water. I want to remember every detail of tonight. Through the doors, I could see Elena in her cream-colored designer dress, desperately trying to get Victor's attention. He kept turning away, one hand clutching what looked like my letter. My phone buzzed again. Tobias this time. This is brutal. Victor just asked Elena about James. She's denying everything. I watched as Elena grabbed Victor's arm, pulling him toward a quiet corner. Even from here, I could see the tears streaming down her face, ruining her perfect makeup. Quite a show, isn't it? I jumped. Dad had appeared beside my booth, looking older than I'd ever seen him. Shouldn't you be in there, comforting your favorite daughter? I asked, not meeting his eyes. He slid into the seat across from me. The pawn shop receipt. That was a nice touch. She really did sell those rings, Dad. Did you know that? He sighed. No, just like I didn't know about the email she sent to your potential employer or the trust fund. Through the glass, Mom was now trying to shepherd guests away from Elena and Victor's increasingly heated discussion. Your sister, Dad started. Don't make excuses for her. Not anymore. I was going to say your sister isn't the person I thought she was. He rubbed his temples. Neither are you, for that matter. A commotion drew our attention back to the dining room. Victor had raised his voice enough that we could hear him through the doors. The trust fund. Were you ever going to tell me about that? Or were you just going to wait until after the wedding to clean me out? Elena's response was too quiet to hear, but her desperate gestures told the story. Should we help her? Dad asked, almost to himself. Like you helped me all those times she hurt me. He flinched. Penelope. No, Dad. Elena made her choices. Now she gets to live with them. My phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. I opened it to find a photo of Elena and James at the engagement party, his hand on her waist as they stood close in the garden. Below it was a message. Thought Victor might want to see this too. James. I showed Dad the text. Looks like I'm not the only one tired of Elena's games. Don't, Dad warned. That would destroy her. Funny how everyone's worried about destroying Elena, but nobody ever worried about how she was destroying me. Through the glass, I watched Victor storm out of the dining room, Elena chasing after him. Mom stood helpless, watching them go. Guests whispered among themselves, phones already out to spread the gossip. The wedding's tomorrow, Dad said quietly. Is this really what you want? Before I could answer, Elena burst into the bar, mascara running down her face. She spotted me and froze. You, she hissed. You did this. You ruined everything. No, Elena, you did this. I just made sure everyone knew who you really are. She lunged toward me, but Dad caught her arm. Elena, stop. You're making a scene. A scene? She laughed hysterically. My wedding is falling apart, and you're worried about a scene. Hotel staff were starting to notice. Guests from the dining room had followed the drama, phones recording everything. How does it feel? I asked, standing up. To have everyone see the real you? You bitter, jealous little... Elena broke off as Victor appeared in the doorway, holding his phone. James sent me some interesting photos, he said, his voice cold. Want to explain them? Elena's face went white. Victor, please, I can explain everything. Save it. He turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and the wedding's off. I'll make the announcement myself. As Victor walked away, Elena collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Mom rushed to comfort her, while Dad stood frozen between us, torn, as always. I picked up my purse, ready to leave. Karma's funny, isn't it? Sometimes it needs a little push, but it always arrives eventually. Penelope, Dad called after me. Was it worth it? I looked back at Elena. surrounded by the ruins of her perfect facade. Ask me tomorrow. As I walked out of the hotel, my phone buzzed one last time. A text from Gwen. Holy shit, you actually did it. Yes, I had. And tomorrow, at exactly 2 p.m., when the wedding was supposed to start, I planned to be sitting in my apartment, wearing the sapphire necklace, raising a glass to great-grandmother Isabella. Some traditions deserve to be honored, after all. The morning of Elena's wedding day dawned bright and clear. Perfect weather for a ceremony that wasn't going to happen. Or so I thought. My phone rang at 7 a.m. Gwen's voice was breathless. Turn on the local news, now. I fumbled for my TV remote. There was Elena, standing outside the hotel, looking fresh and composed despite last night's meltdown. The wedding will proceed as planned, she was saying to reporters. Any rumors of cancellation are completely false. Victor and I have worked through a minor misunderstanding. What the hell? I sat up straight. Minor misunderstanding. It gets worse, Gwen said. Check your email. There it was. A message from Elena to the entire guest list. Due to a family member's attempts to sabotage our special day, security will be strictly enforced. Anyone not on the approved list will be removed. She's actually going through with it, I whispered. But Victor called me 10 minutes ago, Gwen cut in. Elena convinced him the photos were doctored. Said you made up everything out of jealousy. My doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Tobias, looking frantic. I have to call you back, I told Gwen. I opened the door, and Tobias burst in. Victor's not answering my calls. Elena's family is saying you photoshopped those pictures of her and James. They're calling you mentally unstable. Of course they are. I sank onto my couch. That's Elena's favorite weapon, making people question their own reality. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. Elena's willing to forgive you if you publicly apologize. Please, honey, don't make this worse. Forgive me, I laughed bitterly. She's the one who… Another buzz, this time from James. Elena's threatening to sue me if I don't say the photos were fake. I'm sorry, but I can't afford a legal battle. She's doing damage control, Tobias said, reading over my shoulder. And it's working. I grabbed my keys. Not for long. Where's Victor now? Getting ready at the hotel. Elena has people watching him. Then that's where we're going. The hotel lobby was chaos when we arrived. Wedding guests milled around, whispering and checking their phones. Security guards stood at every entrance. There's no way we're getting upstairs, Tobias muttered. We don't need to. I spotted a familiar face across the lobby, Victor's mother, looking worried and confused. I approached her carefully. Mrs. Russell, we need to talk about your son. She recognized me immediately. You're Elena's sister, the one who told your son the truth. Please, just listen. For the next 5 minutes, I showed her everything. The pawn shop receipt, the email Elena sent to my employer, screenshots of conversations proving the trust fund's existence, Victor's grandmother's rings. She gasped, examining the receipt. Elena said they were stolen. Mom! Victor's voice came from behind us. He was in his tuxedo, looking torn. What are you doing? Saving you from making a huge mistake, she said, holding up the receipt. These were your grandmother's rings, Victor. The ones Elena claimed were stolen. She explained that, he said, but his voice wavered. The photos were fake. Were they? I pulled out my phone, showing him the text from James. Why would Elena threaten to sue him if they were fake? Victor's face hardened. Where is she? Bridal suite, 7th floor. I handed him the stack of evidence. This time, don't let her twist the truth. He took the papers and headed for the elevator. His mother squeezed my hand before following him. Think it'll work? Tobias asked. Before I could answer, Elena's voice echoed across the lobby. Security, that's her, my sister. Remove her immediately. 2 guards started moving toward us. But then the elevator doors opened, and Victor's voice boomed through the lobby. Stop, everyone, stop right there. He strode out, Elena running after him in her wedding dress. Victor, please, don't do this. Don't do what, Elena? Tell the truth? Like how you sold my grandmother's rings, or how you were planning to use your secret trust fund to leave me after the wedding. The lobby fell silent. Phones came out, recording everything. They're lying, Elena screamed, pointing at me. She's always been jealous. She's trying to ruin everything. No, Elena, Victor said quietly. You did that all by yourself. He turned to the gathered crowd. The wedding is canceled. For real this time. I'm sorry for any inconvenience. As chaos erupted around us, I caught Elena's eye across the lobby. For the first time in our lives, I saw real fear in my sister's face. The perfect facade had finally cracked, and this time, there was no fixing it. The hotel lobby exploded into chaos. Guests pulled out phones, recording everything as Elena's carefully constructed world crumbled around her. You don't understand, Elena sobbed, grabbing Victor's arm. I did it all for us. For us, Victor jerked away. The trust fund, the pawned rings, meeting James in secret. James meant nothing. It was just what? A new voice cut through the chaos. James himself stood at the lobby entrance, looking grim. Just the same thing you did 3 years ago, when you were engaged to me. Elena's face went white. What are you doing here? Telling the truth, finally. James stepped forward. Victor, there's something you need to know. Elena didn't just meet me at the engagement party. She's been meeting me for months. Mom pushed through the crowd. Elena, what is he talking about? He's lying. Elena's voice rose hysterically. Penelope put him up to this. Actually, James pulled out his phone. I have the texts, all of them, including your plans for after the wedding. Victor took the phone, scrolling through messages as Elena tried to snatch it away. Once I have access to his accounts, Victor read aloud, his voice shaking. We can finally be together. What is this, Elena? The crowd gasped. Someone whispered, is this being recorded? It's not what you think, Elena pleaded. I can explain everything, like you explained the rings. Victor's mother stepped forward, holding up the pawn shop receipt. My mother's rings, Elena. They were meant to be passed down through generations. I needed the money for what? Victor demanded. The secret apartment you leased last month. Yeah, James told me about that too. Elena spun toward me, her eyes wild. This is all your fault. You couldn't stand to see me happy. Happy, I laughed. You're not happy, Elena. You're a con artist. And now everyone knows it. Security, Elena screamed. Remove them all. Actually, the head of security stepped forward. We've been instructed by Mr. Russell to ensure you leave the premises. Hotel policy regarding fraudulent events. Elena's mouth fell open. But I'm the bride. Not anymore, Victor said quietly. It's over, Elena, all of it. Dad finally spoke up from the crowd. How long have you been lying to everyone? Daddy, please. Elena reached for him, but he stepped back. The trust fund, he continued. That was your grandmother's money, wasn't it? The money she left specifically for both her granddaughters to share. I froze. What? I found the paperwork this morning. Dad pulled an envelope from his jacket. Elena, you told us Penelope had signed away her half. You forged her signature. The hits kept coming. James stepped closer, addressing the crowd. Should I tell them about the other engagements, the ones before me? Other engagements? Victor's mother gasped. 3 of them, James confirmed. Each time, she got access to their accounts, then disappeared. I was lucky. I caught on before the wedding. Elena looked around wildly, like a cornered animal. Then she straightened, smoothing her wedding dress. Fine, she said, her voice suddenly cold. You want the truth? I took what I deserved, what this family never gave me. And you know what? I'd do it again. That's enough. Hotel security moved in. Ma'am, please come with us. As they led Elena away, she turned back one last time. I hate you, she spat at me. I've always hated you. You were always the talented one, the special one. Everyone loved you without you even trying. The lobby fell silent. That's what this was about? I stepped closer. You ruined lives, stole money, destroyed relationships because you were jealous of me. You don't understand, Elena whispered. You never understood what it was like living in your shadow. My shadow, I laughed incredulously. While you were busy trying to destroy me, I was just trying to survive you. Security finally escorted her out, her white dress disappearing through the revolving doors. Victor turned to the stunned crowd. I'm sorry everyone came all this way for nothing. The hotel will refund all room charges. As the guests dispersed, Mom approached me slowly. We didn't know, she said softly, about any of it. We should have seen. Yes, I cut her off. You should have. Dad held up the trust fund paperwork. We'll make this right, Penelope. The money, everything. I shook my head. It was never about the money, Dad. As I turned to leave, Victor called out, Penelope, thank you for telling me the truth. I touched the sapphire necklace in my purse. Sometimes the truth is all we have. Outside, the perfect wedding day sunshine felt ironic. Somewhere in the city, Elena was probably already planning her next con. But this time, she'd have to do it without her perfect family facade to hide behind. Sometimes karma doesn't just knock, it kicks down the door. The sapphire necklace caught the evening light as I held it up, sitting alone in my apartment. Its deep blue stones seemed to hold all the secrets our family had kept for generations. My phone buzzed, Gwen asking if I wanted company. Before I could reply, someone knocked on my door. Through the peephole, I saw Mom and Dad standing there, looking uncertain. I opened the door but didn't invite them in. The police called, Dad said quietly. They found Elena at the airport. She was trying to leave the country. Of course she was. I stepped aside, finally letting them enter. Did they arrest her? Victor pressed charges for fraud. Mom sank onto my couch. And James, he found other victims, previous fiancés who want justice. She's going to jail, Dad added. Real jail, not some minimum security resort. I placed the necklace on my coffee table. Good. Is it? Mom's voice cracked. Is any of this good? The truth coming out. Yes, that's good. Elena facing consequences for once. That's excellent. Dad picked up the necklace. You know, Isabella wore this the day she left her arranged marriage. Everyone called her a scandal, a disgrace. But she was just being honest about who she was. Unlike Elena, I said. Unlike all of us, Mom corrected. We weren't honest about what we saw, what we let happen to you. My phone buzzed again. A text from Victor. Found more evidence in Elena's apartment. She's been running this con for years. You saved me from losing everything. I showed them the message. She would have destroyed him, Dad said. Just like she tried to destroy you. The difference is, I fought back. Mom reached for my hand. We should have fought for you. All those times Elena hurt you. We looked the other way because it was easier than facing the truth. That she was a sociopath? That we failed both our daughters, Dad said. We failed Elena by never setting boundaries. And we failed you by never protecting you. I sat down, suddenly tired. I didn't want revenge, you know? Not really. I just wanted the truth to come out. And now it has. Dad placed the necklace in my hands. This belongs to you. Not because of inheritance or tradition, but because you understand what it really means. What does it mean? That sometimes the bravest thing we can do is tell the truth, even when it costs us everything. He smiled sadly. Isabella would be proud. My phone rang. Elena calling from jail. I put it on speaker. Penny? Her voice was small, broken. I need your help, please. I can't go to prison. You should have thought about that before you started scamming people. I'm your sister. No, I said firmly. A sister protects, supports, loves. You only destroyed. Mom? Dad? Please. Dad took the phone. Elena, we love you. We'll always love you. But it's time you face the consequences of your choices. Daddy, no. I ended the call. Mom wiped her eyes. What happens now? Now. I fastened the necklace around my neck. Now we start over, with truth this time. Will you ever forgive us? Mom asked. I don't know, I answered honestly. but I'm willing to try if you are. Dad nodded. No more looking the other way. No more excuses. My phone lit up with messages. Gwen, Tobias, Victor, even James, all checking on me. I showed my parents. Look at that, Mom said softly. All these people who saw the real you, even when we couldn't. The real me. I touched the sapphire pendant. Not the version Elena created, not the one you accepted, but me. Dad stood up. We should go. But Penelope, thank you for being brave enough to tell the truth, even when we weren't brave enough to hear it. After they left, I stood at my window, watching the city lights come on. The necklace felt warm against my skin, like it had finally found its rightful place. My phone buzzed one last time, a message from an unknown number. A photo of great-grandmother Isabella wearing this same necklace, her face proud and defiant. Below it, a simple caption, "Sometimes the truth sets everyone free." I smiled, touching the sapphire again. Elena had wanted a perfect wedding, a perfect life, a perfect lie. Instead, she got exactly what she deserved, the truth. And me? I got something better than revenge. I got my life back, my voice back, my truth back. Sometimes karma doesn't just come full circle. Sometimes it leaves you with exactly what you need. Not what you wanted, but what you deserved all along. The sapphire glowed in the fading light, its story finally complete. And mine? Mine was just beginning.